the different theories of intelligence and mental ability that have developed throughout the psychological history, as well as the theorists who developed each of these ideas.
The first theory was developed by Charles Spearman, a prominent psychologist of 20th century Britain. He believed that intelligence was one general ability which he called the G factor. Spearman theorized that people who were good at one thing tended to be good at many other things too. He helped develop a test to prove his theory called factor analysis, which determines how certain clusters of skills might correlate with other skills. For example, if one were to test well with spatial skills, they might also be numerically intelligent. Spearman believed this G factor was connected to overall mental ability, but reducing intelligence to a single test is now known to be problematic.
However, American psychologist L.L. Thurstone argued that there were 7 distinct types of mental ability, each independent of one another. These 7 types of intelligence included spatial ability, memory, perceptual speed, word fluency, numerical ability, reasoning, and verbal meaning. Thurstone administered 56 different types of tests, narrowing down the results to just 7 types of intelligence. Even so, Thurstone's study also showed that high scores on one type of test usually meant high scores on other tests, backing up Spearman's original theory of the G factor.
The ideas of Spearman and Thurstone led to even more theories on the different types of intelligence. Robert Sternberg led a wave of contemporary theorists with his triarchic theory of intelligence. Instead of 7 types of mental ability, Sternberg reasoned that there were only 3. Analytical, which involved problem solving; creative, the ability to adjust to new tasks and new environments; and practical, or the ability to have solutions for everyday personal problems.
Following Sternberg's triarchic theory of intelligence was Howard Gardner and his associates at Harvard with the theory of multiple intelligences. Gardner believed that intelligence was comprised of 8 independent mental abilities. These abilities included logical mathematical, linguistic, spatial, musical, bodily kinesthetic, interpersonal, intrapersonal, and naturalistic. Interpersonal intelligence is the ability of one to effectively communicate and understand other people, while intrapersonal ability is the understanding of oneself.
To test Howard Gardner's theory of multiple intelligences, we have given you a survey. There are a list of statements written on the left-hand side of the paper. It is your job to rank these statements from 0 to 5, 0 being not at all true about you, and 5 being very true about you. When you total up your scores on the right-hand side of the paper, you will see which of Gardner's areas of intelligence best suits you: musical, mathematical, linguistic, naturalistic, interpersonal, intrapersonal, spatial, and bodily kinesthetic.
The last theory accepted by psychologists is Daniel Goleman's theory of emotional intelligence, developed in 1997. Goleman wished to understand how effectively people deal with their own emotions and understand the emotions of others. Goleman separated emotional intelligence into 5 categories: knowing one's own emotions, managing one's emotions, using emotions to motivate oneself, recognizing the emotions of other people, and managing relationships. Perceiving emotions means being able to recognize them in faces and even in music, film, and stories. Understanding emotions relates to being able to predict them and how they might change. And managing emotions comes down to knowing how to appropriately express yourself in various situations. And finally, emotional intelligence also means using emotions to enable adaptive or creative thinking, like knowing how to manage conflict, comfort a grieving friend, or work well with others.